Hello and welcome to a CBS News New York special presentation. I'm Chris Wragge. The Knicks are in a heated battle with the Heat in the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs after beating the Cavs in dramatic fashion in the first round. Currently, the series is tied 1 game apiece. The Knicks dropped game 1, losing 108-100 thanks to a big game from Jimmy Butler. Game 2, the Knicks were firing on all cylinders for the most part, winning 111-105. Associated Press Knicks reporter Brian Mahoney joins me now to talk more about this series, which is off to a great start. Brian, great to see you. So let's talk about game 2 last night. And, the Knicks came out, obviously, to hear the news pregame that Jimmy Butler was not going to play. That set him up for what should have been a big-time win yesterday. And I know it was early, but that was really a must-win for the Knicks last night.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to say second game was a must-win. I mean,
yeah.
But if you lose 2-0 without their best player, the confidence the Heat would have had, knowing you had to win 4 out of 5, and they needed to win that one.
You saw obviously a team that, in the last couple of games, the shooting could be a little bit better at times. Yesterday, they seemed to kind of hit their stride a little bit more. Julius Randle kind of stepped up, had a good game. I know R.J. Barrett played well, in the first half. What was the real, the real signature point in the game yesterday that really kind of set them up to hold on and win game 2? They
had a big moment in the fourth quarter where they grabbed a few offensive rebounds, and then Brunson hit a couple shots. Josh Hart hit a big 3 in the corner, and it was tight. They were really down the first 3.5 quarters almost, and so right there. They kind of took over the game, and just going to get those loose balls. That's what this Knicks team thinks they do well.
You've been covering this team for a lot of years, since what, 2005, correct? 2005. So you've seen a lot of bad, and now you're seeing some good. Can you just talk about Jalen Brunson? We're seeing him on the screen right now. Just what a huge addition he has been to this team. And did anybody realize what they were getting? And guys like Josh Hart as well, who have come in and really provided a great spark for this team.
I mean, both of them, the moves they made since last summer have been incredible. I mean, Jalen Brunson, he was a priority in the offseason, much better than any of us, I think, even thought. The impact he's made all the way around, and then getting Josh Hart in a trade at the deadline. He's come off the bench, starting now. He's done everything they need for. So this is the kind of team they needed, these kind of winning players, and it's been a major impact, obviously.
When you were watching yesterday, having seen the ups and downs of this team, not only during the regular season, but also in the playoffs here just within the first round and a half, did you say to yourself, okay, things are trending the right way for the Knicks in that game last night, or did you say, wow, we could potentially see this team go down 0-2, losing both games on their home court?
Well, the way the game was going, I thought the Heat were going to win, but I never ruled out the Knicks comeback. I mean, I have seen them do so many good things this year that maybe in the past they did not do, that I thought they would eventually come back, but it was a tough situation to be down the way they were that late in the game.
It seems like sprained ankles are like the injury du jour in this series. You got Jimmy Butler, who's got a sprained ankle, who's out. Who knows if he's going to be available? I know these extra days of rest are going to help him before Saturday's game 3. But then you had Julius, who dinged up his ankle the other day. He came back, played well. In game 2 last night, you saw Brunson go down in the first half. It looked like he had tweaked his ankle again. You see that in slow motion. You're like, oh man, please get up from this. Do you think Jimmy Butler comes back and is able to contribute at least 80% on Saturday?
I would expect so. I say it's a pretty long break between games. I'm sure part of the reason not to play him last night was to give him that extra rest. And you hope to see everyone at the right time. I know everyone says we have enough to win, we'll find a way, but when you're playing a close competition like this, it's hard to think you're going to win without your best guys.
Yeah. So, guys like, Quickly, Grimes, Obi Toppin, they've not been off to great start. I mean, it almost looks, I don't want to say the postseason is looking a little bit too big for them right now, but they haven't had those breakout games that they've had during the regular season yet. I know there's still a lot of basketball left. When you look at those guys, is it about them settling down and kind of getting used to the playoff atmosphere a little bit more, or are things maybe just not clicking for them right now?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's the first time going this far in the playoffs, and it's just this time of year, it's the star players who do it. I mean, in the regular season, yes, your bench is important and the guys play, but right now it's got to be Randle and Brunson and R.J. Barrett. If you're going to win the games, I think it's got to be those guys.
Yeah, R.J. Barrett, who had a great first half last night, and it looked like he was going to have about 40 the way things were going. How much does the team really kind of go the way R.J. does? Because when R.J.'s off, I mean, it really sets a bad tone for the rest of the team. It seems like
it does. And he started the playoffs poorly the first 2 games in Cleveland, couldn't make a shot. It seemed like last night was huge. I know he didn't play down the stretch, but as Julius is working his way back in the game, Brunson was struggling early. R.J. Barrett was really all the offense they had in the first quarter, it seemed like. So without him, they don't win that game. I think they would have been way behind, and so he's huge.
He gets a lot of criticism. Would you say fair to say that R.J. Barrett probably even more so than Julius at times, takes a fair amount of criticism from fans and media people alike. How important has it been for him to really come out? As you said, he didn't play too well in the first 2 games of the first series, but then at home really kind of ignited some things, and he's actually played really well the last couple of games.
Yeah, and I think he does have that up and downs a little bit, and I think he's used to it now. So if he plays poorly, it doesn't get to him early on. He feels he's going to have a good game the next game, and so far after those first 2 games, he's been good in almost every single one. And again, without last night those 16 points in the first quarter, who knows where the Knicks would have been.
That's just it. I mean, boy, talk about keeping them in it, because it seemed as though there was that one stretch where Knicks went about 4 minutes where they couldn't find a basket. And you're looking at that, you're saying it's almost halftime. We got about 38 points gone, right? So if there's a guy who has not had that kind of signature game yet during these first round and a half of the playoffs, who is the one, Nick, do you think really needs to kind of emerge to give him an added spark?
Well, Quickly hasn't been great in the playoffs, as you mentioned earlier, and he's almost 6th man of the year. So
and he's averaging about 6 points a game right now.
His shot's been off. I think they could use a little more from him. And in this round, I think Mitchell Robinson played great against Cleveland with the offensive rebounds. The Heat have done a better job blocking him out. I think they still need a little more from him, against a tough interior like Miami has.
Yeah, Mitchell, I was thinking last night, he got into foul trouble a little bit early on, but he does provide that great presence in the middle. If he could just shoot free throws.
Yeah,
I mean, you talk about a bad free throw shooter. He went to the Shaq School of free throw shooting. And I know we keep talking about, you hate to put too much pressure on Quick, but he needs to step up a little bit. Obi threw up some bad shots last night. It just seems as though those guys are just got to kind of settle in just a little bit. Kevin Love even hit in a couple threes from Miami as we're looking at some stills from these last couple of games. Now, I guess if you're Tibbs right now, what are you saying going down to Miami now for Game 3? Obviously, you're going to be the away team. It's going to be a pretty raucous environment down there, although I bet you New York will probably travel pretty well down to Miami since it's the 6th borough. But what's your approach going into Game 3 now if you're the coach, if you're Tibbs?
Well, I think you say, okay, we expect Jimmy's going to come back. They're going to have a lot of energy early in the game, obviously, in their building. We've got to withstand that poor start. When the Knicks were in the playoffs 2 years ago, started poorly, really on the road in both games, and you can't afford that against a good team. So, get going early, I think, is important.
How exciting is it for you to be able to cover a bona fide playoff team now? And now with the Bucks out, you don't want to get ahead of yourself with this series, but things could be potentially setting up for the Knicks here to take it another couple of steps.
They have a great shot, and it has been fun. I mean, obviously the Garden is always the Garden, but it's been different even than right now with the people coming, with the belief in the team, the energy there. So you hope it continues for as long as possible. People are really enjoying it, and it's a fun team to watch.
You got the celebrities coming back out to Celebrity Row right now. You had, just the environment last night. It almost blew the roof off that place when Brunson hit that 3 late in the game in the 4th yesterday. It was really kind of nice to see the Garden really pick up and return to the Garden that we know from years ago. Again, you just kind of look at it. You look at these guys. You look at some of the points they're scoring. Julius Randle playing well again last night. How important is that? He is a guy who really feeds on the environment out there. And when he's playing well, he gets everybody kind of jacked up and fired up. And everybody kind of seems he's kind of like that rising tide raises all ships. When he's playing well, everybody else seems to up their game.
And he really did everything for them last night. 12 rebounds, I think it was, 8 assists. Just a tremendous all-around game. And again, against a team like Miami, as tough and physical as they are, there's just not another guy like Julius on the Knicks. So he needs to be out there giving him whatever he can with that ankle, and last night it was enough.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler, when he plays, he's going to get his. He can't be totally shut down whether he's got the sprained ankle or not. When you look at it on paper, the 2 rosters, the Knicks, are they a better team in your estimation?
I think I think I'd want to take the Knicks roster over the Heat.
Yep.
You'd have a lot of undrafted guys. The Knicks have certainly more individual talent, I think. But again, the way Butler has played in these playoffs, he's really kind of lifted them up. They have so much confidence right now. They're not a number 8 seed. Yeah. They're a better team than that. Yeah. And so, again, that's why I think both coaches expect this to be a long series, and it probably will be.
Can I ask you a prediction? Do you make predictions, or do you not want me to put you in that position? Or if you don't want to say it's your prediction, say, well, I heard somebody with this prediction I kind of like, so I'll go with that.
I did make a prediction for the series, and it was Heat in 6. I just thought the way Butler was playing, you get on a roll like, you see it in college sometimes with guys.
Yep.
You don't see it in the NBA like this, the way he was playing. So I went that way. We'll see. If obviously if the Knicks are as healthy as they look down the stretch last night, maybe that changes.
This is your chance to amend that if you want. I'm going to give you away. If you want to stick with a Heat in 6, you can, but I'm going to give you your chance right now. Brian, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. Really good to see you. Safe travels. Okay, Brian Mahoney from the Associated Press. Press. And we thank him very much for this in-depth chat about the Knicks. And you can catch all the Knicks action right here. Game 3, Saturday, 3:30 p.m. as the Knicks try to steal a game or two, hopefully in Miami for the Knicks' sake. Be sure to stay with CBS 2 for continuing coverage of the Knicks playoff run on the air and online at cbsnewyork.com. Have a great day, and RJ, keep sticking those threes. Drive to the basket. Josh, you the same.